This is Juanqui.
And this is Hawk.
And this is the gaypodcast.
Let's go.
I hit the function, hit the rules until I hiccup. I hit the stage and leave with money that's a sticker. She picture perfect, so I told him I'm a flicker. I'm in the mood for a shake-up.
Finally. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening. I almost fucked that up right there. This is the Incredible Hulk here.
And this is Juanqui.
He just cut me off. Like, you have to let me lead you in, babe.
All right.
I said, this is the Incredible
3, 2,
Hulk
1.
here.
Go ahead. 3, 2, 1.
I'm not going to redo it. We're just,
okay.
we
Reset.
just went going.
Let's reset. Let's reset.
Going. Okay. I'm not doing this
Let's
with you today.
reset. Action.
Hello, everybody. I am the Incredible Hulk.
And I am Juanqui.
You see, you messed up.
You was leading.
You messed up.
That wasn't a leading situation.
I decided.
Last one. 3,
it's called
2.
Improving. That the point was for me to start.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not in.
Because you do the 3.
They can't see that because this is radio, podcast, online. Anybody. Anyway, Jesus Christ. Anyway, once again, this is the Incredible Hulk here with.
They already know who I am because you made me say it 3 times. So
3
it's not getting
times.
cut,
Well, 3
so.
times a charm. So.
I am Juanqui.
Really?
I am Juanqui.
Babe, we cannot start the podcast like this every show.
I know. I need you to get more professional.
I need to get more professional.
Get it
You started
together.
a podcast forgetting that your headphones wasn't plugged in.
No, it wasn't forgetting. I was getting ready, baby. I could do this in my sleep. But I won't.
But you won't. I'm not doing this with
All right. Hello, everybody. This is Juanqui.
Really? And we're going to introduce ourselves for the 5th time. How about, all right, let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
it.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody.
2024.
Yes. That's the crowds cheering for us.
Okay. You do know we have a stream audio deck that we could just pull the crowd. You could get it at the stadium. You could get it at the theater. You could get them in the...
I'm gonna cue them in.
Okay, great.
See, now we're editing live. You don't like that either. See that?
Well, you do know that the newscasters, they're editing live, so it's not a bad thing.
Oh, I could tell. I remember when that black news anchor, she was like, "What the
fuck you doing?" Sue Simmons.
And then she came back.
NBC Channel 4 local news. The
Damn,
fuck you doing? I'm gonna need you to put the insert here. The fuck are you doing? Sue Simmons, of course. Sue Simmons is a veteran.
Yo,
She's
she
no longer
came
with the
back.
station.
I bet she is. After that, she came back
She said,
like,
"What the fuck you doing?"
Before the break, you may have heard.
No, she said she didn't even really apologize.
I wouldn't have either.
We're gonna replay that because it's worth taking a look. I love me some Sue Simmons. Sometimes we could see her. I didn't know this, but the newscasters have a phone, like a landline, like a landline, right next to, and she was on the phone with her daughter, telling her to put the meat in the oven. And
Oh, she don't give a fuck.
And the guy was like, "Sue, we're live. Sue, we're live." She's like, okay, bye, click, and then she was on the phone. I love me some Sue
I like
Simmons.
her.
Yes.
I've never watched her.
Oh, with local Channel 4 local news.
Channel 4,
NBC, New
got
York.
it. I used to watch Pix 11.
Oh, I used to watch Pix 11
Brenda
too.
Black. No, that's UPN.
No, that's UPN. Brenda Blackman. Her hair was
Remember her?
laid,
Always.
and she was never out.
She had that clear Huxtable
She was
hair.
never out. What happened to Brenda Blackman?
I was just about to ask you that. We need to look that up.
I'm going to look her up.
You know what's crazy? I remember most of the women. I don't remember. Like, I remember Kaidi Chung.
She's still there.
She is?
You know she's married to Maury Povich.
I do know that, and I learned about that because I was watching Maury and someone said something about his wife. I was like, what?
Mm-hmm. That's Kaidi Chung. She's still there. She's still doing her thing. I went to a fundraiser, I would say maybe 10 years ago, where she was speaking. It was honoring her. And she came in, she had her publicist and the whole nine. She was a very nice lady.
Yeah.
I didn't sit at her table.
Did she have the newscaster voice on?
No, she didn't.
She spoke regular.
But let me tell you who had a funny. It wasn't even a newscaster. It was almost cartoonish, and I was taken aback and surprised. I was in the VIP section at one of the Rutgers University's graduations, and she was the commencement speaker.
Okay.
Right? So she came in, Soledad O'Brien. She's the one that used to be on local NBC and then made it into CNN. She used to have like a 1-hour show on CNN every night.
I don't recall her, no.
She went up there, which, these people get paid a lot of money to do these speaking
heard about
things.
that.
Like $500,000, a lot of money, right? She came in, she did her speaking part. She was very animated and her pitch was off. Like, I'm like, this is not the Soledad O'Brien that I see on CNN. Why can't we get the CNN one? And then as soon as she was done with her speech, she exited stage left and walked right the hell out.
Oh, she was done.
She was done. They only come to do their speech and then they're out.
Oh, that check better clear.
You know? Oh, by then the check has cleared already.
Oh, so she's prepaid.
She's already been paid.
You know what's crazy? I didn't know that they had like the newscaster voice was an actual
put on
thing.
voice. But I told you that.
Until I was on, when I used to have Instagram, I was up there and there was this couple who are the black couple. I don't know if you've ran into them in the algorithm, but it's a male and a female, and they're a couple,
I know who she
and
is,
they start playing with their newscaster voice. I was like, oh shit!
But
like,
I told you
generic.
I told you this. Whenever you,
dope.
because and they're supposed to sound like they have no accent. They're supposed to sound very generic. And I also pointed out to you the breath control.
Oh yes, and now I can pick it out. But you know what's crazy is how news has changed from, you're not supposed to cry, you're not supposed to laugh, you're not supposed to have no type of emotion, and then, or an opinion, and now news is literally an opinion platform.
Well, there's two types of news.
And they changed the name.
There's two types of news, right? There's news, like PBS News reporting, and BBC, and then there's Channel
CNN.
11, PIX Channel 11, where there was a motherfucking DJ every morning. This is when I lived in Harlem. When I lived in Harlem, I used to get ready to the news and a DJ. The DJ would spin as they were cut into break.
That's pretty dope, though.
Well, it was designed for a particular type of demographic.
Yeah.
It was appealing to me, and I was in Harlem, and I was getting all my news, but there was just happened to be a DJ. It was a black man and a black woman.
I love it.
And Corey, his name is Corey. He's actually moved on to another channel, more professional, and is doing very well.
Oh, he must have moved over to commentary news. Like CNN,
is that what
Fox.
it's called? Commentary news?
I think they call it commentary news, or because it's not real. Like CNN is literally an opinion. Fox News is literally an opinion. Like they don't necessarily talk about facts. Like they will tell you what happened and then tell you what they think.
Well,
like it's all about how they feel about what happened.
I think what has happened is over the years, a lot of the shows like MSNBC, CNN, back in the day when I used to, like if I think of those channels back in the day, I remember constant nonstop news reporting,
Yeah, 24/7.
As time went on and the market changed, then they got shows that would be like interest piece shows where you will have commentaries, where you will have a political panel, where you will have. So already that this show has a particular point of view that they're pushing.
Exactly. Fox and CNN. You they're on literally the different ends of the spectrum.
Correct.
Polar opposites. And it's crazy how they pass it off as news, though. There is no, that's why I like the BBC. Because they just talk about facts. And
do I dare say Al Jazeera news?
I like Al Jazeera too.
I don't know why, but I'm like I like not that it's not that I like him. I'm open to seeing the other side, the other perspective, or how they're reporting it on the other side of the world.
That's what though. That's how you stay.
Because even BBC is I would say it's a little bit biased when it comes down to the way they report.
I don't think so.
British.
I don't
news.
see BBC as biased because
I think so.
You know what it is? They tell.
I think they paint Americans in a particular way.
I mean, I don't think they lie.
But are they painting their own people in a particular way? That's my question.
You mean like they don't brush their teeth and stuff like that, and they stink? You don't like that I said that?
It's not that I don't like that you said that. I'm just trying to follow your point.
Oh no, I'm just being stupid. I don't have a point. It's just
Okay.
it's just
So
it's
now
just funny.
2024
2024
is upon us.
Yes.
New year, new me.
Here we go with that again.
I like to think of it as new year, same me, better goals.
Better goals, yeah.
Okay, drop a bomb on that. Now let me ask you this. When it comes down to 2024 and goal setting, how important do you think is goal setting for anybody?
I think it's the most important thing that anyone can do, especially for people who are motivated and driven and want to take their life or just anything that they're doing to the next level. If you don't have a plan, then you
You plan to fail.
Exactly. So I always establish a plan.
When do you establish your plan? Like,
I typically, I know towards the end of the year, you know, when you're in the fourth quarter, November, December, and everybody always gets to this place where they have an overview of how the year was and what things they did accomplish and what they would like to accomplish and something you can focus on the next year. So I would say around December is when I start laying out the master plan.
So I guess you, in your view, in your world, you do your goal setting calendar year.
Yes.
What happens if for the people who run in a different fiscal year?
Then
You
they
know,
do it.
with July is the
July's
beginning of the
fiscal-
year.
Well, then I think that they would start, you know, in July. Or June, I don't know.
All right, I'll put you out of your misery.
I've never ran like that. I run like normal
I'm just dragging
people.
this along. When it comes out to me and goal setting, I believe that you should have goals all the time, all day, every day. I think that once you accomplish a goal, you should start setting up another one. I do like to reflect at the end of the year and set new ones for the beginning of the year, but I do believe that what's important is for you to continue to revisit your goals, sometimes on a weekly basis. And I said calendar year versus fiscal year because I think that, you know, sometimes people set goals now in December or January and then they don't revisit them again until November.
Oh, see, I'm not built like that.
When it's time to close out.
No, I feel you. But I don't know. I think that's like those superficial goals that people set. They do those they usually do it with that. Like, you know, everybody wants to start the gym in January. And then February, everybody's still fat. And
I believe that you
should
start the gym in February, to be quite honest. Why? Because I feel like
yeah.
January, and in the past, whenever I have fitness goals and I was going to like a gym or whatever, I will stay out of the gym for January. Because January, there's way too many people that are
you
wishing,
just wanna
hoping, and wanting.
avoid the crowds.
Yeah, wishing, hoping, and wanting. There's just unnecessary
Hogging
people
the
that you know they're not going nowhere. I know
Can't
that's
get
mean
a
to say,
locker.
but yeah, you can get a locker. You can. Classes are full.
Parking is terrible.
So I would start February.
Yeah, no, I was thinking about that too. I was like, you know, maybe February should be the start of anything like that. But as far as like, you know, financial goals and spiritual goals, you can start those literally. I like to start it going into the new year. Like, I don't like to wait. I like to go into the new year already practicing what I want to come to fruition. So that it's just a flow. So my new year already started with me focused on these goals and implementing these changes. So
What about? I also feel like people should be realistic about their goal setting. I think a lot of people set themselves up for failure and for disappointment for lack of a better term, they're delusional about their shit.
a lot of people are delusional.
And I think that social media and social media and the internet just adds to that delusion.
It's the instant gratification people look for. So and they don't have proper knowledge. They don't have proper planning skills. They see things and say, oh, I'm gonna lose weight in 3 months. I'm gonna lose 100 pounds. Like, there's no way you can do that healthy. Like, in a healthy way, I should say. Like, they say, oh, I want to save $10,000 a month. You know, I'm just being like going out there with the numbers, but these are the way these people think.
With your minimum wage job.
Yeah, with a minimum wage job, and you think you're gonna save $1,000 a month. Like, you gotta take baby steps. You gotta start with $5 a week or $20 a week, and then build yourself up, and just cut out a lot of the excess fat financially. You know, when it comes to financial planning. I know I just spun into this whole thing, but I think that a lot of people should do stuff like that. Like, you don't need 3 subscriptions to 3 different streaming networks. You know, pick the one you like the most.
I do believe at the end of the year that you should look over your budget. That's part of my planning. Like, I look over my budget and see what you can get rid of. And I do this in all aspects of my life. I've done this in aspects of financial, job-wise. If I still want, is next year the year that I'm leaving that place or switching careers. Friendship-wise, who I'm not bringing into the next year. Exactly. Who you are out of it. Shout out to New York. A Flavor of Love. You are out of it with the hand and everything at the bottom of the staircase. Yeah, that. But and I don't think there's anything wrong. I just think that you need to be realistic. I think that you need to be realistic. You need to be aware of the things that you can. You need to be aware of yourself, but also what's around you, the market. How is the market looking?
Oh, definitely. The one thing that I learned from you is the Excel sheet.
Mm-hmm. What is the Excel sheet?
It's basically you use Microsoft Excel. You put out everything that you have, all your expenses, anything that you want to do, anything that you are doing and you have to do, and you basically lay out the dollar amount for everything.
Yeah.
So how much you make that week, you put the entire check into the Excel sheet. You see what your bills are for the month, and you check off the ones that you paid. So it basically tells you to the exact dollar amount, how much money you're spending and how much money you have left over. To the cent.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I developed this Excel sheet, I would say, during my college years. And it's an Excel sheet that adds and deducts as you go along. And it even has a section which says this is how much you could potentially be saving, putting into your savings. And so you get sometimes 5, right? 5, depending on the month, you get 5 lines where weeks where you put check 1, check 2, or if you buy weekly, whatever, you put your checks there, and it will automatically start deducting that from all your payment that you have to do. Obviously, you have to put in your payments, your vendors, and all that due date. But once you do that, then you can copy and paste to the next month, and then just name it the new month, and then go from there. You make your adjustments and all that. That sheet is what got me to the best financial status in my entire life.
Yeah.
I developed that after getting in heavy trouble with credit cards back in the day. Credit was my it was speech for me. It was like
kryptonite.
Credit. I can swipe that card faster than you can see that. Yeah. But then
I remember those days.
By looking at acknowledging and knowing where every red cent was going, it just allowed me to be, and now I have it down to like it's a 1, 2, 3, boom.
Yeah, I think you would be surprised what you spend your money on.
Right.
Because that was my biggest surprise is when I see what my highest, I would say my expenditure, and it wasn't what I thought it was.
Right.
So that made me say, okay, it's time to take a step back and we need to adjust this because this is outrageous.
Right.
But now, it got me to a better place with spending habits that I needed to break. And plus seeing places that don't need to be taking my money anymore.
Right.
Like I don't like giving my money away now.
Right.
Ever.
So, I wanted to do a quick bullet on financial, and we'll be talking more about it throughout the year because I think it's very important that everybody, especially during this time, when you get your paycheck, and I know, people are working minimum wage, part-time jobs, dead-end jobs, no raises, no bonuses, but it's most important that you take a little bit out, even if it's $20. Start with $20 and set aside in an envelope that you're not going to touch. Committing yourself to doing that every week, it does add up. And I don't want to say that I'm anti this or anti that, but just as you have money in your bank, you should diversify the areas where you have your money. If you have more than one bank that you bank with, have a little bit in each bank. And if you have a safe or whatever, have a little bit, or a family member safe or whatever, have a little bit that you can access without having to run to a bank.
I think you should always have cash on hand.
Well, exactly. You should have something put aside in your home or in your family's home or in a secure location with a fireproof safe to which only you or maybe another person knows a combination to where you can have emergency money, because we are heading into some treacherous times.
Listen, I don't trust the banks.
I don't trust the banks, I don't trust those people that sit on those positions that got elected and swore, but they're doing the complete opposites.
Oh my God!
Or the ones that want to go up there. As we switch to political news, drop a bomb on that. Okay, how do you feel about Miss Nikki Haley, your first elected Republican female? Talk about she had black friends when she grew up.
Oh, this is all from that Civil War talk where she couldn't just say, it was about slavery.
No. According to Nikki Haley, what was slavery? What was the Civil War about?
Oh, it was just about the economic freedom and all that BS.
And how government wanted to run.
Yeah. How government should basically stay out of personal lives and people should be able to do what they want and
people should be able to just have slaves in the backyard.
Exactly.
Is that what she was trying to say?
She was trying to say keep that in the backyard working them fields.
And then this is the part, ladies and gentlemen, that I don't know much people know about this because I just learned about this. Nikki Haley, that's not a white woman.
I just learned that today.
She is the daughter of Indians. No, not those.
Okay, I don't think you should. Okay.
I'm talking of India.
You're talking about 7-Eleven India.
I'm talking about Bombay Dreams India.
Oh, I love it. No, that's the Arabic.
I'm talking about light bulbs, switching light bulbs. This podcast has just gotten canceled in 3 platforms.
We always get canceled.
But the Christians will keep us.
No, they won't.
iHeart will keep us.
They will send us to hell fast.
You think so?
All the way fast.
I need you to, I need some Bombay music in here.
Oh, really?
And you know what? And no, I want you to keep this in here because I did the Indian thing because listen to this. When I was born in New York City. I lived in Puerto Rico. I lived in DR, and eventually found my way back to Puerto Rico. But when I lived in Puerto Rico, we were so proud of our Indian culture. I was one of the Indians dressed with a little straw front and back and a little string.
I bet you were.
And my mom had me in my Thundercats underwear. Uh-huh. There were Thundercats.
Oh, you were young, Jesus Christ.
And then I had my little hat and my little feather, and we did the whole march and whatever. I can tell you what a juke is.
The Tainos.
Yes, the Taino
Indians. Yeah.
Indians. It wasn't until I got to America, talk about divide and conquer, where they told me that the word Indian and referring to them as Native American Indians or Indian period is not acceptable. Remember, these are the same people that are trying to tell me that I'm Latinx.
I know.
Drop a bomb on that, okay? The ones that are always trying to put a label and then tell you the label's wrong, that label's wrong now, put this one on, and 25 years from now, that label was wrong, now put this one on.
Yeah.
Okay, now we want to be non-binary, divisible by 3.
America is trash when it comes to that.
I'm just saying. So from my culture, where I come from, the word Indian, there's nothing wrong with it.
Hey, you know what's crazy is my grandmother, when she told me, when I was talking to her about our ancestry and told her, Africa, blah, blah, blah. And she said, you have Indian in your family too. Mm-hmm. And then she showed me the picture on the wall of this Indian people, and I don't know why my dumb ass just thought that was decoration or something.
Oh my God, you know they were family members?
That was her grandparents.
Wow.
And she had the feather in her head, and I was like, oh, because black people always say I'm Cherokee Indian.
Right, yeah.
So I never said that shit because I didn't want to be a part of that clan.
Right, yeah.
But I did not know that was our family on that wall. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. These are white people that get sensitive with...
No, but Nikki Haley's not white. Remember, she's
Indian. And she is India from India.
But listen to what her mother told her as advice.
What?
When trying to assimilate with white people. She told a young Nikki Haley that it's not about showing them how she was different, but showing them how they were alike. That was her advice.
That is...
So Nikki Haley's white passing. She's white passing. Because I thought that was a white woman.
I did not know she was Indian until you told me.
She's not.
I think that's crazy. Well, now I see why she's racist, because they racist as fucking India too. So drop a bomb on that.
That's right.
So
what do you think she's done?
I don't...
She's out?
Hell no. America is racist as fuck. She probably went up in the polls. I don't think racism is a deal breaker for these white people because it doesn't affect them. But I think that them finding out or realizing that she's Indian, I think that's going to hurt her.
Yeah.
Because these people are all about whiteness, and it's so dumb, but that's just an American thing, I guess.
Yeah.
So I don't like her.
Okay.
And when I caught her, she's one of those people who She loves the misdirection. She loves to answer the question by repeating the question
She
back
doesn't have a stand.
and then trying to
See
throw
what
it off.
where you're coming from, so she can give you an answer that you're gonna be satisfied with.
Yeah. She asks, you ask her, she will ask you, you will say something, she will grab one of the words that you replied with and she will harp on that and literally never answer the question directly. Like, so she's good at that. She's a politician. So I just don't like her. I think she's evil.
Let me tell
and
you.
I think white women are responsible for a lot of the fucked up shit in this country. So I don't trust white women.
I mean, let me just...
And that has happened over and over and it just didn't make the noise. The news. And I don't trust Hillary Clinton either.
Let me tell you something, that some of my hardest situations in corporate America was when I was rubbing elbows with white women or white assimilating women or lesbian women. Yeah, but white lesbian women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Same.
With a chip on the shoulder or trying to prove something.
I'm like, calm down.
Just calm down. And when I look at a Nikki Haley, that's what I see. I see her, and it reminds me of my time in corporate and the many bitches who try to. Because I can even tell you this, white men actually, because I was proving myself, and there was no job that I wouldn't do, started developing a level of respect for me when it came down to. I'm not saying all, but for me to sit here and say that the white men kept me down in corporate America, I'm not gonna say that, because in New York, whether I was playing the race card, whether I was, it was. I see it as a mixture of things, because you can't just have the race card and not have the educational background or the experience for some of the jobs that I've done. You know.
Yeah, of course.
You can't fake the shit that I've done. So, eventually, by you putting your time in there, before you know, you're 5 years at this place where you started up in the front and now you're in the back. You know what I'm saying? Like but white women were the ones giving me the hardest time anywhere I've gone.
You want to hear something crazy? I agree. A white guy was the first one to give me a corporate break and branch into corporate America. So I always say, like, without him giving me that opportunity and trusting and believing in me, I wouldn't be where I am right now, I would say. And the reason why I left corporate America is because of a white lesbian chick. And I could not take the disrespect. I feel like, and this is, oh my God, I feel like these lesbians sometimes try to be a man so hard that they overdo it and they try to exert masculinity excessively. So they're disrespectful, they talk down to you.
Well, I mean, you could flip the size of the quarter on that and say that the, for lack of a better term, cunt. I'm talking about the gay cunts.
Oh, Jesus
They
Christ.
really go over it.
I had to take a break. I was like, let me see where this is going first.
No, this is gonna be.
I didn't want to say nothing just because I had to chop.
No. But they go over. No, what about the very over-the-top gay boys?
We're gonna go everywhere.
That are trying to be, or the transgenders that are now demanding for you to call them a female.
Here we go.
But this is not what the podcast is
No,
about
we're gonna hit that. I agree.
Ahead.
I think that these gays that are overly gay, I feel like they wear gay as a personality. Gay is a sexuality. It's not a personality. I don't need to be like, oh girl, what's up? Da 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 da. Be extra loud and faggoty. I think that that's just a put on. I met people who put that voice on.
Sometimes,
and I didn't know it was a put on until they told me. They're like, oh Hawk, I just do that because.
I would say that sometimes it's also, when you become the jester, when you become the clown. When you become the center of attention in a negative way, you wear it. They've decided to wear it, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna get read and called out. I might as well read and call myself out before anybody else in the room does it.
Yeah, but that's not good.
I'm not saying it's good. I'm just giving you what I've experienced in life from what I've seen.
I can see that, and yeah, it's just too much. I feel like everybody just needs to chill out and just be their self. They do too much with that, and it's a turn off for me.
We will have a podcast later on, talking more in depth about
how gay is too gay.
Drop a motherfucking bomb on that. All right, but in current news, in current events.
All right, let's get back.
Current events.
Let's talk about this migration bullshit that's happening. and all the things that are happening in New York City.
Basically,
let's just say, of course, it's coming from a Republican state. So, Mayor Adams, New York City. So, they were dropping buses off in New York City from Texas.
Yep.
So he decided to file a $700 million lawsuit
against the buses coming in because they're not coming in during
And because there's actually a statute in New York City that says that if you knowingly bring someone to New York to live off of the system or to take advantage of the system, then you are responsible for.
They found that? They've been looking.
No, it's a statute in the
found
New York.
it?
Yeah.
Because they were looking. They've been looking for weeks now to something that they can attach themselves to. They found that?
Yes, they found it, and I was like,
I thought he was fining them because the buses were arriving outside of the scheduled time that he had given them.
No.
He has, for those folks that are not near New York, Mayor Adams wrote an executive order in which these buses can only come in Monday to Friday, like 8 a.m. to 4, pretty much City Hall hours, and they needed to give New York City 30 hours notice, which is as long as it takes for the bus to get here. And since they did that executive order, not one bus had arrived during that time or complied with the order, and there were a total of almost 20 buses that arrived since that order was issued. So they were talking about fining the buses per person. It's like $700 per person and on the bus. But now you're telling me that they found something else?
They found Section 149 of the New York Social Services Law, which says any person who knowingly brings or causes to be brought a needy person from out of the state into the state for purposes of making him a public charge will be obligated to convey such person out of the state or to support him at his own expense. So when and how come it took them this long to find this? They were scrambling.
I'm just saying, no, City Hall, right, and the state and the whole nine, they have historians, they have people who're supposed to know that Constitution, because states have their own Constitution.
Oh, these people.
They're supposed to know it like from back up down the whole, every letter, every punctuation that's there. They should be like they have people that they pay just to know.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think Donald Trump knows anything about stuff like that?
No, not Donald Trump.
No,
I'm not asking Mayor Adams. I'm talking about his people.
This is what I'm saying. These people are unqualified. That's what I was saying. Wow. You think Donald Trump know anything about this shit?
Because this would have stopped the moment the second bus arrived.
Exactly. But, I think what he wanted to do was, this is what I think, and this is my opinion, this is not a fact. I think the Democrats were trying to say all of this because they wanted to appeal to the Hispanic community because the election year is coming. So they want to say, yes, we'll take them all. And then Texas said, and they shipped all of them. And they overwhelmed the system, and now it's getting out of control, and they're being forced to be like, all right, we can't take it anymore. So now you need to stop, and if you don't stop, now we're suing, and you know what I'm saying?
I will tell you what I recently found out. A commentator and on a reputable newscast said, which I've known this to be true. New York City lost about 500,000 people, whether they moved out, whether they died of COVID related situations, all of that. In the last 3 years, they have lost 500,000. By allowing these people to come in, they are essentially fueling back up the void that they've had. So that's number one. Number two,
I call BS on that. Continue.
I'm not done yet, honey.
I know. Continue.
That's number one. Number two, and this is how they explain it, and I happen to agree. Number two is when these folks come in, and I did not know this either. Once they become permanent residents, and they have authorizations to work and stuff like that, New York City has a law in which they can officially vote. Drop a bomb on that. They can officially vote. Now, there was some debate going on as to what they can vote on. They can't vote on a presidential election, but they can vote on the school community boards. They can start voting on the school community board. So it's at least a step up. Okay, it's no longer somebody who's not a U.S. citizen cannot vote. It's if you are a registered alien with a work permit, you can now vote for the school district. Okay, you say, okay, well, you forget that not jurisdictions, what's the word? My professors will be so proud of me. The way they allocate funds,
I know,
the way
census.
not just the census, not the census, the way it's the count by student bodies in each public school, the way they redraw lines, zoning, all of that. Okay, so now you start voting in school elections. What's not to say that you're not voting in community board now?
Okay.
You see how it's slowly developing?
No. I see
Okay,
that. I know that the population determines how much money the federal, through the census or whatever, determines how much the federal government allocate funds to each state, and which in turn to each city. And then the mayor has his, he could do what he do with his budget. But when you have these people, so what you're saying is that now that there's let's just say 500,000 immigrants from wherever the fuck they come from living in Manhattan, which is one of the richest parts of New York, now are going to get even more money. How is that helping New York City?
I'm not talking about that part. See, I need you to try to think like long range, right? Because I remember being in an organization that I was as a youth. They used to push us, and it was rock the boat and the whole nine, to vote. And they push really big on, it's not just about voting for presidential elections. You got to start voting at your local
level.
But they even said even down in your community board, because a lot of these community board leaders, right, that's their foundation. Then they branch off from there to what? To political parties. And then from political parties, they're in senates. And from that, they're in presidential elections. That type of. So you see how the civic engagement starts at your local community board.
I don't think
monies are definitely tied into the populations in the school. I know because I studied this in school, so I know this to be true. Now, it certainly does not help the Republicans that immigrants that are not Republicans, or even just like other people who are not born U.S. citizens, have the right to vote in any election, period. See, you got to start, you can't think of the big apple, the whole thing, the whole pie. You got to start chipping away. The first battle was getting all these people in here. They're here now. They've been giving more support than
American citizens
and veterans and people who really
put
have
into the system, sacrifice for the country.
Right.
Yeah.
They get the vouchers, they get the housing, the medical, they've already been giving a whole step up. Soon they're gonna get work permits, and eventually they're going to be able legally. The law says in New York City that they can vote. If your child goes to that school, you can vote for that. Exactly.
But
you don't see how that's
if this is all about voting, then they need to just figure out how to get the citizens that are here to vote and do better outreach to the citizens. This is the problem here. They're creating a divide because now you bring in all these foreign people here who are complaining about their accommodations, their food. They're complaining about everything. You have people living on the streets that are in these communities. They're fucking up establishments and businesses, and they're making people feel unsafe. Then they're coming here taking all the money out of the community. So the people who live here can't even benefit from these shits. The American government has been saying "fuck you" to us.
Let me tell you
for this entire time.
I get
so
all
now
that.
I get what you're saying politically,
that,
but I'm talking about right now. You literally are turning the New York City citizens against these people, and they're not gonna forget this. So I get that it's all about votes and being able to allocate new funds. But the funny thing is that where the fuck did all this money come from all of a sudden? They didn't have none of this money or resources for the people that was here. Now all of a sudden we allocating these funds for these people that didn't put shit into this community. They're taking everything from the community that you could have gave to us. So I get you want people to vote, but don't you think that the people that are there are no longer going to vote for the people that brought them there? So then they're not. So what's the balance? A new 500,000, but there's already 1 million people that says fuck this current regime or whatever you want to call them in power, and they're no longer going to vote for these people. So the Democrats are not going to win.
I don't think we're speaking the same issue, though. I don't think we're talking about the same thing. I hear what you're saying, and I get what you're saying, and that's a strong aspect. That's the now. What I'm talking about is what this political commentator,
when it's over,
the projection that he was giving, which is going to affect. I don't, and I voted Democrat, I would say all of my life.
I get it.
But what I'm saying is, what the Democrats attempted to do and are attempting to do by not saying anything and not closing the borders is, among other things, the one that I was like, oh, I did not think of it this way, is that these people eventually,
are gonna vote
and if
Democrat.
Not these people, definitely their offsprings, because there will be there will be U.S. citizens, right? So this is creating. We're not going to see, and we're not going to see the results of this next election. But I guarantee you that this has changed,
of course,
the outlook and the shape In less than 10 years.
And you know what's
will
crazy?
See it. In less than 10 years, you're going to see it.
I agree with that. I understand what you're saying.
That's
in the long
what I'm
run.
saying.
I think
it was two issues that we were talking about.
No, I understand your issue because it's the long term, but it's very difficult for people to see that far when their current status is, in the air. But they say that the population of the United States is eventually going to be majority Hispanics, and the Democrats literally just sped that shit up by allowing these people to come in. Because they say over 80% of the people coming in are Asian and Hispanic. So,
well, switching into Asia, okay. Switching into Asia. So I guess we're no longer taking our Asian excursion.
We're never going to Asia. We wanted to.
I wanted to see the Great Wall of China. I wanted to maybe get on a cruise and visit a whole bunch of areas.
I always wanted to see the Great Wall of China.
I wanted to see the cherry bloom thing or
cherry
whatever.
Blossom thing. Yeah,
and then just see that culture because it's so different. But let me tell you, I what's coming out of the news, what I'm seeing, the regime, the threats against trying to invade and attack
Taiwan, America, everybody.
I wish that in my lifetime I do not see these two superpowers go to war. But a lot of people say superpowers. Is China a superpower?
They have nuclear weapons. Yes.
That's what makes them a superpower?
That, and they have the second largest. Well, I don't want to lie.
So
they
don't
have
say
one
it.
of the largest economies
If you're not
in the
sure,
world.
don't
I'm not
say
sure.
it.
I know it's like top 5. I know they're a top 5 large economy. So China is a big part of the world, the global economy. So when they talk about global powers, is without China, the world would go into chaos. Without the United States,
well, you're saying that, but we have witnessed over the last few months major industries pull out of China and go into India.
Yes, because they have the manpower. India has the infrastructure and the manpower.
Whatever the case may be, but they have pulled out of China. This has definitely affected their bottom line.
That's why they're going crazy.
And so are they a superpower? When everybody has pulled out of there? Michael Kors recently pulled off. We have Apple that pulled off. There wasn't Tesla pulling out of there?
Well, they were banning Teslas because they said that Tesla was a spy for I guess the American government, because Tesla's an American company,
and the technology
because
that
they track
employ,
the cars, and they don't want. You're not allowed to have Teslas by any government facilities in China. It's so stupid.
Yet we allow China corporations to
buy farmland in America, military bases. Yeah, I'm with you, babe.
Yeah, finished my sentences, man.
I had to. Yeah, it's wild. I mean, they got fake police stations out here.
Yeah, that's right.
That's crazy. They got fake food, cat, dog.
Fake.
I will never get over that shit. I seen that in the backyard with the rats, boiling the rat skin off, cutting them into beef and broccoli. I was like,
you weren't supposed to see the cat. It ran out.
Yo, I seen the dudes, give me back my cat. I seen my cat go in there, and the Chinese dude was like, no cat, no cat. And I shouldn't use accents, but you get what I'm saying. And then he was like, bring me my cat or I'm calling the cops. And then he brought the cat out.
Really?
And I was like, oh no. Oh no.
And the cat let itself be carried? Because usually cats don't.
Chinese people don't care.
Was the cat injured?
He was about to beat food. What do you mean?
Drop a bomb on that. Meow.
You remember, listen, y'all. I was about to order some food, and I was like, I wanted to get some.
Wait, I want you to. This podcast is this a foretelling or foreshadowing of our 2024 with this podcast?
A messy ass podcast.
Because we were I think that we went above and beyond, haven't we?
Yeah, we're going off the cliff.
Yeah,
and we're gonna just establish a house here.
We're just
off the cliff.
Off the cliff. Okay.
Cliffhanger.
Well, as we begin to close out, and I want you to do the story as we close out.
Okay.
I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the first podcast of the year.
Yes.
Hulk and I are wishing you a wonderful, incredible 2024, successful, and may you accomplish all of your goals. Remember, I believe you should reshape. You okay? So every month, at the end of every month, look at that goal plan that you had and see what you need to refix, reshape, and keep it pushing.
In the words of Britney Spears, you better work, bitch.
That's right. We look forward to sitting here and just ranting and talking about some of the topics that we just did today.
Yes.
And with that said, I'm gonna turn it over to my husband, the Incredible Hulk. Let him tell this story, and then he's going to Hulk take us out. So go ahead, baby.
So basically, we were ordering food, and we were trying to figure out if we wanted some What was that? A Thai food.
Thai
so
food.
I was calling a Thai restaurant.
Which is not Chinese.
Yes, it's not. Listen, Asia is Asia. I don't care anymore, except for India. That's all. Anyway, so I was calling and they didn't pick up the phone. So I said, maybe they're closed. So then I call again, and then the Asian dude picks up the phone, and in the background, all I hear is he said, "Taiwan restaurant," and all I hear is,
Oh my God.
I was like, what time do you guys close today? Because I wasn't gonna order the food, and he was like, "Oh, we close regular time." So I hang up and I call Wonky. I said, "Babe, this motherfucker had dogs in the background." He picked up the phone, and all I heard was barking.
More than one?
A kennel.
Okay. Oh
It was
God.
a bunch of dogs. I said, "Babe, I do not feel safe ordering from this restaurant because we're gonna order food and we're gonna get dog or cat." And I said, from that moment on, we are fucking done. Yes, we can be found on all major streaming platforms. Anywhere you get your podcast, you can find us.
Or you can stream us at www.jnhpodcast.com. There you will find a player and you can stream us right off our website.
Hey.